Surely all of us know about the cause and effect relationship. If you drink, you'll be more hydrated. If we add 1 plus 1, we get 2. If you keep watching the CLC videos, you're going to be one of the cool kids. In essence, if this happens, then that happens. But surely, situations don't always guarantee the predictable or the assumed outcome. For instance, although I believe you become cool by watching our videos, it's an assumption rather than a proven fact. Let's apply this to learning English. How do we effectively express factual and conditional cause and effect relationships in English conversations and writings? Well, stay tuned for the entirety of the video as we talk about what's called conditionals. And I promise that you won't regret it. It's that cool. I'm Matthew, and welcome to today's CLC video. So, what are conditionals? They're a linguistic or even a literary device in the form of a sentence used to describe 4 different types of cause and effect situations. What actually happens, what could happen, what we wish would happen, and what might have happened. And so we have 4 conditionals: zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, and third conditional. Whether you realize it or not, I promise that all of us use some form of conditionals in everyday conversations. So it's essential that we know when to use each of them and how to best express them in a concise and effective manner. The following is the general structure of conditional sentences. We have the if clause, which is the condition, comma, followed by the main clause, which is the result. Without further ado, my friend Daffa will explain to you the first 2 conditionals. So take notes and have fun.
Alright, the first conditional which will be explained is the zero conditional. Now in the explanation part, aside from the general explanation of each conditionals, we will also go through each of the conditionals structure, some of their examples, and also an analysis for one of the examples for each conditionals.
Now let's actually move on to the explanation part. The zero conditional is used to describe definite or inevitable outcomes which will definitely happen. Basically, general truths and facts. Zero conditionals may only be used when the referred time is present. And now let's take a look at some examples of the zero conditionals. But before that, here is the structure for zero conditional sentences. If plus simple present followed with another simple present. Additionally, for zero conditionals, you can replace if with when. Therefore, the structure is like this. When plus simple present followed with another simple present. If the temperature rises, the room gets hotter. If you subtract 1 from a dozen, you get 11. When it rains, the sky turns dark. Alright, now let's analyze one of the examples. If the temperature rises, the room gets hotter. Now, if the temperature rises is the if clause. The room gets hotter is the main clause. Basically, the if clause will result in the main clause. Next up is the first conditional. The first conditional is utilized when talking about both real and possible situations which may occur in the future. Unlike zero conditionals, the situation referred in first conditionals are probable outcomes which are likely to happen. Now let's take a look at the first conditional's structure. If plus simple present followed with simple future. If I don't study, I will fail the subject. If you don't hurry, you will miss the bus. If it rains, we will not go outside. Now let's analyze one of the examples. If you don't hurry, you will miss the bus. Again, if you don't hurry is the if clause of the sentence, and you will miss the bus is the main clause. Because the if clause happened, it resulted in the main clause.
Thanks, Daffa. That was an excellent explanation. Now, let's move on to second conditionals. It's gonna get a little complex, but you can do it. So the key phrase to second conditionals are what we wish would happen in either present or future situations. Since it's a wish, they are highly unlikely to take place, though not impossible. The top 3 applications of second conditionals include imagining of how one's life may be different, stating hypothetical questions, and giving reasons why you can't do something. Before we delve into some examples, let's look at the most important thing, the sentence structure.
Okay, so this is the sentence structure for second conditionals. We have the word if added with a simple past, comma, ... the word would, and added with an infinitive. So the following are some examples. If I knew how to cook, I would invite my friends over for dinner every single night. If you could possess any superpower, how would you save the world from a zombie apocalypse? Lastly, if I had enough time, I would help renovate your bathroom. Let's take one of them and analyze it. The sentence, if you could possess any superpower, how would you save the world from a zombie apocalypse? We can divide this into 2 parts. The first one is if you could possess any superpower, this is the if this happens clause, or the if clause if you may, the condition. And the second part of the sentence is how would you save the world, ... This is the how this would turn out, the main clause, the result. Notice that in the if clause, I've replaced would with could, which is certainly valid and acceptable. But when we use could, the verb that comes after it must be in the infinitive form. In this case, possess, not the simple past, which would be possessed, like the other examples. Just a rule of thumb.
Okay, moving on to the next level, third conditionals. If you remember, 0, first, and second conditionals focus on what will, could, or would happen based on a set condition. In other words, pointing to a present or future situation. The third conditional, however, is what would, might, or could have happened in circumstances. Therefore, it's all about the past, specifically an unreal past. Instances where we would use third conditionals are when mentioning about an imaginary situation or result in the past, or contemplating on a life regret.
Okay, so first we have the word if added with the past perfect, which consists of the subject followed by the word had, followed by a past participle, and then a comma added with a perfect conditional, which consists of a subject added with the word would or might or could added with a past participle. Phew, that was a mouthful. Now, let's look at some examples. If I had taken better care of my diet during quarantine, I wouldn't have suffered that 2-kilometer jog. If I had arrived to school on time, I might have gotten my share of free breakfast from the school's cafeteria. And lastly, if you had known how to swim, you could have applied for that lifeguard job. Let's analyze that last example. The sentence, if you had known how to swim, you could have applied for that lifeguard job. We can separate the sentence to 2 parts. The first one being, if you had known how to swim, this is the if this happens clause, or the if clause, the condition. And the second part of the sentence is, you could have applied for that lifeguard job. This is the that thing would have happened or would have been happening clause, or the main clause, the result.
Pause. Before we continue, I recommend that you make sure to have a good grasp on conditionals 0, 1, 2, and 3 because your understanding on this next topic depends on it. So please, go ahead and rewind this video if need be. And if you're set and have made it this far into the video, give yourself a pat in the back because this is the last and most advanced type of conditionals. Here, we will talk about mixed conditionals. The name says it all. We use them when we talk about two different situations that take place in two different times, mixing or combining them into one sentence. Curious? Let's take a look.
Alright, are you guys ready? So the first, we're going to combine the past action and a present result. So, in other words, if this thing had happened, that thing would happen. An example would be, if he had passed his English exam, we would be celebrating together. Second one is combining present condition and past result. So, if this thing happened, that thing would have happened. An example would be, if I were a good actor, I would have auditioned for that school play. And lastly, combining future action and past result. An example would be, if he didn't have his thesis paper due next Monday, we would have gone to that Aerosmith concert.
Okay, BZs, that's all the conditionals there is in the English grammar. Now, it's your turn to apply what you just learned in your writing, or better yet, put some of your own examples of conditionals in the comment section below. Wish you the best!
Before wrapping up the video, we will go through additional informations for all conditionals. The first one will be about switching the clauses for conditional sentences. Normally, conditional sentences may appear like this: if plus simple present followed with simple future. Now this is the structure for the first conditional. However, it's possible to switch the clauses. For example, if you don't go to her birthday party, she will be sad. Now this is a conditional sentence following the first conditional's structure. Now if we switch the two clauses, the if clause and the main clause, we will get this sentence: she will be sad if you don't go to her birthday party. Now she will be sad is the main clause, and if you don't go to her birthday party is the if clause. Now the main clause is in the front rather than the end, and the if clause is now in the end instead of the front. The second additional information is the utilization of unless. For negative conditional sentences, you may utilize unless instead of if. And now let's use the previous sentence for example. If you don't go to her birthday party, she will be sad. And now we will replace if with unless. And here's the new word. Unless you go to her birthday party, she will not be sad.
And now we've reached the end of the video. We truly hope that this video proves useful to the viewers, and if it did, do press the like button. If you want more contents like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so that you'll be informed immediately when we upload a new video. With all of that said, thank you for watching and goodbye.